Welcome please to the JVG podcast, where these G's are gonna spread their seeds of knowledge about the league. It's flourishing with these. These funny catchers seem to be well read, esteemed and honest. Like the man himself, Jeff Van Gundy. They are high IQ, so cerebral and funny. So if you're on the bus, just border on the dunny. Listen to the
JVG NBA Tribute Show.
One team.
Astonishing, jaw-dropping genius!
One goal.
Oh my goodness.
One opportunity.
Stop it! Stop it! Don't let him do him like that!
This.
This is what we play for.
Good evening! Right off the rip.
And welcome to episode 133 of the JVG NBA Tribute Show, brought to you by me, Marco, and you, Lucas. Lucas, how are you?
I'm good this evening, Marco. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
That's good to hear.
Well, you should count your lucky stars if you're even listening to this podcast, because frankly, it's a miracle that happened, isn't it, Lucas?
Is that true? Is that because of me or you or both of us?
I would say mostly you, but maybe me as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say emailed Marco 12 hours ago, 7 a.m., 7:04 to be precise. And I said, Marco, I don't think I can do the podcast tonight. I woke up feeling, just dreadful, awful. I think it's been a combination of just not having a good sleep in ever. And then also last night I had a game of basketball.
Was it a late one?
Well, no, not necessarily. It was at 8.
That's enough, though.
Yeah, I probably got to bed at about... I would have been in bed before 10. Easy. Yeah. However, I probably wasn't asleep until, 11:30. And then I woke up at 2, and I just was so restless. And I probably didn't get back down until 3, like an actual baby. And then I got up at 6, and I was like, no, can't do the pod. I can't do the pod tonight. And then for some reason, of all the days, Tuesday... I just kept progressively getting better and better as the day went on.
Yeah, I think Monday, it's not a real day of the week. You're never going to feel good on a Monday. So if you still feel bad by Tuesday morning, you're like, oh shit, something's wrong, I think. But really, I think Tuesday is the start of the week, and you will feel better by midday on Tuesday.
That's incredible.
95% of the time.
Because I think Wednesday is the start of the weekend.
Yeah, it's so good.
And so if Tuesday is the start of the week, you're telling me the week is 24 hours and the weekend
is so short.
And the weekend is 144 hours.
Yeah. I often have Tuesday mornings where I wake up, I'm like, fuck man, I have to do the pod tonight. I almost never feel that way by the time it gets to midday, let alone 6 p.m. when we're actually about to record the pod.
When we're buzzing.
Yeah, exactly right. Because when I first woke up this morning at about 7:30, saw your text, I was like, fuck yeah. That's because I just woken up and it was Tuesday morning.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I didn't feel great.
Yeah, no, I think I probably want to say ditto. But are you taking shots at our own pod?
No.
Okay.
Quite the opposite.
Actually, you said no. You don't have to go on.
No. I think quite the opposite. I think Tuesday is actually the perfect night to record a podcast on. Monday, we did it on Monday.
We used to do Monday.
I don't think Monday was a good idea.
Yeah, because I also had basketball.
No, that started after.
Oh, true.
That's why we moved it.
Sunday.
Because when we started doing this podcast, it was at the end of that little COVID-19 thing. So I think we also weren't doing much on the weekend because we weren't allowed to.
That's true.
And so Monday, it was just it's cool. It's a convenient day. We get it out nice and early in the weck. And then when basketball came back, you're like, I can't do Mondays anymore. It's like, well, Tuesday seems like the next best day. and I agree. I realized the other day that all of the podcasts I've listened to, including my own, come out on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
No shit.
Yeah, every single one.
Go through them. Podcast about Liz.
Podcast about Liz.
Are you still listening to that weekly?
Yeah, I listen to that weekly.
I haven't listened in ages.
They're having their moments. I think the golden era is gone.
The golden era is gone. They went to video. They were perfect in audio.
You gotta if you want to check out podcasts about this, you gotta check it out from whenever COVID, whenever they started recording in person again, to about episode 210.
Yeah, I want to say 185. Maybe
Yeah.
180
Yeah.
to 210.
Yeah.
So fucking funny,
The
bro.
like 5 episodes before and after 200 are just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
They're blasting on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Then this freaking podcast I listened to about
Dungeons and Dragons.
No, not that one. But that either comes out on a Friday or a Wednesday. But
Okay.
usually a
I
Wednesday.
still don't know which one.
And then I listened to this one about the tech world.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
kind of like the internet and the tech world. It's like a bit funny, but mostly informative.
Oh, right.
And that comes out on a Wednesday.
True. And would you just power through them? Listen to them all back to back to back?
Well, that's the thing is, yeah, I have, but then like, no, because then if I listen to them all on a Wednesday, what do I listen to for the rest of the week?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I listen to the Auntie Donna podcast a little bit. I know you're not a fan of those guys. They come out on Wednesday, and the Deep 2, of course, that is released on Thursday morning, every Thursday morning at 8 a.m.
It's Friday morning, isn't it?
No, Thursday. Oh no, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the exception to the rule.
And maybe the Dungeons and Dragons one.
Oh wow, so they're all on a Wednesday then. That Wednesday Thursday thing I said was me thinking that the Deep 2 comes out on a Thursday.
Yeah. Damn. So your rotation is pretty varied. Mine is ours. The Deep 2, Bad Friends, which comes out on a Tuesday. And then honestly, I reckon the other thing I would listen to on a weekly basis would change from time to time.
Yeah.
And also, you aren't able to get the V part of the AV experience at work. But I can chuck a basketball game on, which is where I get, I probably get an hour of watching it a day in. But let's say, no. Probably an hour of it being on and maybe 10 minutes of watching. But it's enough to keep up with a couple of games.
Yeah. Well, if we're doing that, if we're doing routine, we're doing daily basketball routine. I would watch every lunch break. I will watch like 5-10 minutes of 2 or 3 games, basically.
Yeah.
And that's my live intake for the weekday.
That's a good fix.
Yeah. I get it. Like, in fact, I often have to catch myself because I'll watch 5 minutes a game and I'll immediately have something to say to the group chat. I'll immediately have a take about it. Chill, man. You've been watching for 5 minutes.
My current other thing I'm watching is Arj Barker did a stand-up in 2008. I can't remember what it is. Bro, still so funny.
He's great. Does he live here now?
Yeah.
He does all of his shit here.
Yeah, he lives here.
What a legend.
Yeah, he's fucking funny, man. He was also on Flight of the Conchords.
Good.
I never watched
Such
that
a good
show.
character.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't.
He's key to one of the best jokes, which is the Kiwis are saying to him that their friend may be dead, but the way that they pronounce it is, he maybe did. And then he's like, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. What did he fucking maybe do? It's a good bit.
Is he American in the show?
Yeah.
Ah, right. So it's like a true to life thing.
He's there. What does he owns like the pawn shop downstairs from their apartment or something like that. I think it's a pawn shop.
How many seasons is this show?
2
Is
or
it like-
3.
Is it like the Mighty Boosh?
Oh, I'd say less whimsical, much drier.
Same era?
Yeah,
It was the same
because
era.
it's like there's like 2 songs an episode. I would say.
Is that the same? Do they sing in the Mighty Boosh?
Mighty Boosh had 1 song every episode at least. Yeah.
Was IT Crowd same era?
Yeah.
Rank them, because from the outside looking in, IT Crowd is easily the funniest.
Flight of the Conchords holds a very special place in my heart, doesn't it, Ned?
I don't think. What was the other one? The Mighty Boosh never really appealed to me.
The Mighty Boosh was so funny when it came out, and I think it was like, bro, it was when I was wearing skinny jeans. Like it was that sort of show. Don't watch it now, man.
Why?
So offensive.
Oh,
like,
no
but just
shit.
genuinely, like, not even like, oh, that's a bit off.
True.
Like,
Is it like? So you know how Sunny is very offensive.
no, because Sunny's like very aware of what it's doing.
Yeah,
This is just like,
right,
hey,
right.
we're wearing blackface.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's the big deal? And
Yeah.
like, also any British humor made in that era, like, there's just a lot of transphobia. In fact, the creator of the IT Crowd is like one of Britain's most prominent anti-trans activists.
J.K.
now.
Rowling.
Yeah, exactly right.
My
Can you
goodness.
believe it? She wrote Harry Potter and the IT Crowd.
I can believe it. It's pretty creative.
Yeah, he had like one kind of slightly transphobic joke in an episode, and he got blasted for it, and then he just dedicated the rest of his life to being anti-trans.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make money off that?
Probably.
Yeah. Go on Piers Morgan like
Yeah,
once
exactly
every few
right.
weeks.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, we're off the rails.
God, that was a good segue.
Yeah. Well, speaking of speaking of off the rails.
Yeah.
And potentially, doing something that society doesn't necessarily accept. Demetrius, Ja Morant was recently on IG Live dancing and partying in Denver, and then also pulled out a pistol in the middle of it. I think this is the first time I've actually gotten angry at like what an NBA player has done that's been stupid, and like I'm actually like properly disappointed. But I am like, you're such a fucking idiot, man. What are you fucking doing? Like, What the fuck were you getting out of that? What are you doing? Who are you making better? You are not struggling.
Yeah.
You're a millionaire. I'm not going to speak on like your childhood or everything up until the NBA, but now you're such an important person to so many kids and like so many people. And why are you romanticizing this struggle and this like hardened life when like you could just be doing so many good things for other people?
Yeah. I think it's also the fact that it's not an isolated incident at all. This entire season in particular, he's just been putting on this whole fake thug thing. Like the laser pointers at the Tyrese Halliburton's family. Apparently he punched a 17-year-old kid in a game of pickup. And it's just like, who is this for? Like what?
Yeah.
Like who are you doing this for? Why are you doing this to like impress someone? Is there like a group of like people of like fans on the internet who like follow you more because of this? You're fucking like, you're the face of Nike. Like you're an enormous athlete. You've got all this like fame and attention on you. People already kind of like your personality as well. Like I think the type of people that he thinks he'd be appealing to and this already like him, you know?
Yeah.
Like cringe basketball Instagram loves Ja Morant and they always have. And it just makes me think that it's for him. You know what I mean? Like there's some sort of insecurity or something in him that he makes him feel like he has to do this. And that just makes it even more idiotic because fucking... Like, if this has any long-term effect on his career, or even if it has a short-term effect on the Memphis Grizzlies season, like, look how much you've thrown away.
Yeah. Yeah, great point. Also, so like everyone, he was like he was one of the most likable players last season, and that Grizzlies team was really likable. And then when they started to become a bit annoying, and then ultimately very annoying, he was still very likable. And now he's like completely like the opposite. Like he's gone the complete opposite way. And like, what if he wants to be tough? I don't think this is changing the view on that. Like, I don't think that anyone who's actually tough is like, oh, that guy's tough now because he's punching 17-year-olds and pulling guns out on Instagram Live. Like, Drew, maybe one of the toughest players in the NBA. Why is he tough? Because he doesn't fucking blink. He just like, he'll absorb a blow. He'll just get into like the most hated battles. And it's just like, this is my fucking job. This is what I do. Yeah. I'm here to like bring toughness and like defend the other team's best player and just be physical all game long. And we just battle and it's the best shit ever. Yeah. And I don't react because it's just like, this is just part of who I am. If you like react to the smallest things, it's like, then I think you're showing that you are the complete opposite.
Yeah,
of tough.
Exactly right. This is a slight tangent, but it's certainly related. I think it was John Hollinger writing about all of this, and he was talking about how like Dylan Brooks just is now serving a suspension. This is part of the Grizzlies sort of like fucking chaos that they're in at the moment, for his 16th tech foul of the season or something like that. And he was talking about how like Mike Conley, who was, you know, a part of this Memphis Grizzlies grit and grind, you know, like real hard-nosed defensive team, never had a tech foul in his entire career. And I think, you know, this entire Memphis team has this idea about what's tough, and it's kind of like, you know, it's yapping and it's showing off, and it's like talking shit about the other team when like you're good enough and you're tough enough. You're like an actual tough basketball team that you can just let that be the tough talking for you. Because like you're saying, like nothing Drew has ever done off the court makes people be like, oh, he's tough. It's entirely the player he is and the person he is. Then like, touting a gun or like, yelling at the ref or starting a fight with the other team or saying that, you know, there's no one who can challenge you in the conference. Like, that's not what makes you tough.
Yeah, like when you go and you fucking try and put every 7-footer, everyone who has a foot on you on a poster, that's cool. Like that fearlessness of like, they might block me or I might like actually fucking baptize them. That's tough. Yeah, I hate that this is like this has happened. I just don't know what he wanted to get out of it.
Yeah, no, I don't get it either. I think we spoke about this. I think we spoke about when we were speaking about the Mike Conley trade, about how like maybe one of Minnesota's problems has been that there's just like no good vets there. There's not enough adults in the room. Could that be a problem in Memphis? Like they're a really young team. The only vet on the team really is Steven Adams.
Yeah.
Who like I'm sure he's a great role model, but he's not very vocal. He's not a very like vocal leader. In fact, one of the reports was that immediately before Ja was at this club in Denver, he was at a players only meeting about off-court behavior led by Steven Adams.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had a conversation and he still decided to, you know, go to the club and pull a gun out. So yeah, I mean, is that kind of like the downfall of having this, you know, this team, where they just keep bringing in young players? There's not really any like veteran presence to keep everyone under control. Like, is that fair to say, or is that a bit of a stretch?
Wait, just back on the Steven Adams thing for a sec. Wasn't his like kind of exact wording "stop going clubbing"?
Yeah,
and it was like kind of directed at Ja. And then this happened after that in the outfall of that, which is just horrible. But I think that, I don't feel as though Steven Adams. I don't feel as though, you know, this is quite a lot of speculation, but I just feel like Ja probably doesn't relate to Steven Adams. Not only in like personality, but also the basketball players that they are. Like Steven Adams is
the least flashy player in the league.
Exactly the word I was going to use. Like not only plays the opposite position, but does all the fucking tough shit.
Yeah.
Does the actual tough shit.
Yeah.
But does all the hard work to make Ja look good. But it is like such a contrast in who each other are. And yeah, maybe Mike Conley would be like the perfect player and also person to have on this team. Especially not only being like playing the same position as Ja, and being like quite a lot older and seeing so much more experience than Steven Adams has experienced. And then also not only being a leader as like a personality, Mike Conley, but also leading a really good Memphis team. And then also the city of Memphis just loves him. So maybe a leader like that is like what's necessary in Memphis. But then also I don't really want to put any blame on anyone but Ja. You know? Like it should be, Ja should also be able to just like fucking look at himself in all of this.
At the end of the day, like anyone who's a top 3 draft pick, like you can't go into a room and be like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Obviously there are, you know, veterans and like superstars who would have a lot of influence on how you play, you know, how you act in your career. But at the end of the day, if you're like that level of a draft prospect, really how you behave is up to you. Like, you know, I don't think if Ja doesn't want to listen to people, then he doesn't have to listen to them. It's probably the same with Zion at stages, you know, when his injury was really an injury and it was also dissatisfaction with the team and it was like, it was this, it was that. But at the end of the day, like that, I don't know, this sounds so lame to say, but that growth has to come from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Actually, I think that's all I have to say on this. You're a fucking idiot, man. Like, you're dumb.
So stupid. So, I mean, I hinted it before, but yeah, so Ja has been suspended for 2 games. Could be longer. I mean, this is just fucking idiots in Twitter threads, but if he actually brought a gun on a team vehicle, it can be a 50-game suspension. I mean, that's not going to happen. Let's just put that on the record.
That's a rule? That's like an NBA rule, or is it?
It's an NBA rule. Yeah. So like, if the NBA does their own investigation, they're like, "Oh, you brought a gun on the team playing from Memphis to Denver. which like you have to assume he did if he had a gun at a club in Denver.
Yeah.
Unless he like left the meeting with Steven Adams and went and bought a gun.
Yeah.
Left it in Denver. But yeah, like I don't feel confident that they would enforce that. But yeah, so he could face more time off. Like maybe Memphis wants to keep him out for longer. Dylan Brooks is out for a couple games, and he will miss a game every time he gets teched for the rest of the season. Brandon Clark's out for the season. He just got a season-ending injury.
Oh, true.
Steven Adams is still out. I think he's progressing in his injury, but he'll be out for at least a few more weeks. You know, could this eventually actually affect how good this Memphis team is?
Oh, it's definitely gonna fucking affect my over. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's like who's gonna be the leader now?
Yeah.
Like who? Tyus Jones. I actually don't mind that. I don't mind him being.
He's been pretty good when he sat in.
I think their depth will probably. Oh fuck! I'm looking at the standings now. They are.
How many games have they got on the Kings?
They have half a game on the
Yeah,
Kings.
shit.
And the Kings have 2.5 games on the Suns. So, and I don't doubt that like Memphis will have some success, but I think that they will see a bit of a slump over the next coming days. Like it just with this much dysfunction, I don't think it's realistic to think that they're gonna like maintain on-court success. But yeah, like forget like not only is just losing Ja for like the off-court stuff bad and gonna cause enough shit in the locker room or whatever in relationships within the team, but like Ja the player is like a borderline superstar.
Yeah.
And anytime you take a player like that off a team, it's gonna affect how they play on the court. So what do you reckon they might fall into the play-in?
No, God. I mean, that's the thing is there's a lot of ascendant teams in the 4 spots below them at the moment. You know, like Kings are better than they've ever been. Phoenix obviously have just acquired Kevin Durant, so that's pretty good for them. The Clippers, the Clippers have been bad. Dallas, like Kyrie and Luka could figure it out at any point. But
So maybe it's fine.
I know. I'm becoming less and less confident. No, I actually do think they still have the best depth in the league. I think it went down a bit this season. You know what they like even losing Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson must have been the second oldest bloke on that roster.
Yeah, probably. He could even be older than Thingo.
Oh god, yeah. Steven Adams is he's sneaky, like just turned 30 or something like that.
I want to say Steven Adams 28.
He's
Kyle
20,
Anderson
he's 29.
Kyle Anderson's 29 as well.
Damn.
And 168 days. Steven Adams. Search.
Oh, he's 29.
29 with 230 days though.
Oh, right.
So he was probably the second
second
oldest on the team.
by a couple of days. No, I mean, I think it's too early to judge until we know what's happening with Ja.
Yeah.
I think as soon as he returns, because if he comes back to the team, that means they're happy not they're happy, but he's not going to fuck up for the rest of the season. I think even he knows that.
Yeah.
I think even he will go away and do enough soul searching to not do anything stupid for the rest of the season and be a bit more of a, solid leader, and then they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But something like this, this is the sort of things that surrounds, I don't know, like Phoenix last season. They had a good regular season. They're a really good basketball team, but if you're kind of a bit sketchy in that department, when the playoffs come around, you can just fall apart.
Yeah. Ja, I hope it was all worth it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of being all worth it,
From one's basketball star who makes headlines for all the wrong reasons to another, Liz Cambage has recently signed with an Israeli team.
yes, Maccabi Bnot Ashdod.
Yes, in Israel. They're currently number 1 in the IL League. I would assume that's the Israeli league of some description. And I'm seeing here now, they also have Natisha Heidemann and a couple of other WNBA players who I don't think our listeners will know.
No. Yeah, this felt like it came out of nowhere. I thought she was done with basketball. Like you saw her training with, obviously follow her on Instagram, so you see her training with this guy and that guy and blah 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 blah. Chris shoots hoops or whatever those fellas are called. But yeah, you really felt after what happened with her last season that this was sort of the end of her basketball career. But yeah, I guess a payday's a payday.
Yeah.
I watched a few highlights from her opening game.
She's already played.
Yeah, and
Holy
she was just taking really easy pick and pop jump shots. So yeah, if you can get a paid nice salary to do that, and hang out with a couple other WNBA players, then I guess you would.
Yeah. How did she look in those pick and pop situations?
Yeah, she was just she looked like she always does, like very smooth, very what's the word? Yeah, she's got such nice technique.
Yeah. Did she look? Because at the end of her WA time, she was like gassed. Like she was so unfit compared to everyone else. How did she?
She was not putting. The highlights were all offensive. So
yeah,
I don't know
right.
what she was doing on the other end, and she wasn't rolling to the rim, and she wasn't rushing out to the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Let's say she was really. It was a bit Dwight Howard in Taiwan. Sort of level of effort from her. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely thought that she had just finished playing basketball. Although she did mention in an interview with ESPN like last year that like most of the reason she went and played overseas and that other players played overseas was because it was such a better payday. And like, yeah, you wouldn't just leave that money out there. I also feel as though, and maybe this is because she hasn't been playing basketball, but she also hasn't been making headlines recently. So maybe do you think she could be like on a path? No, I don't want to say back towards like good health because like she's kind of always struggled. But on a path towards good health.
I don't know. I like if you want to be very positive about it, like if this is where she feels comfortable playing basketball and as a person, then good on her. Like that's a good thing. If she she's pushing 30 now.
31.
So she's 31. So if she spends a few years floating around Israel, the EuroLeague, maybe plays in China for a bit, that's what she wants to do. She makes enough money. She plays like a pretty easy level of basketball. I mean, you wouldn't if you were playing in Euros or China. I actually don't know what the Israeli league is like. But if she's going to the number one team and their best players, Natisha Heidemann, it's probably like not as good as a EuroLeague team.
Yeah, no.
I think that's fair to say. So if that's what's good for her mental health, then power to her. Like if there should be a place for good basketball players like her, and let's say I don't know Ben Simmons, who maybe can't take all the limelight and the spotlight.
Yeah, true. Oh, true. I never even thought about it like that. So you reckon the issue was like all the?
I think so.
All the attention.
I think she was the issue. But
Yeah.
But I think it was because she was in that environment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you reckon like more of a low key environment? It doesn't. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'd never even considered that.
Yeah.
I do hope that like good things come from this.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. Still, there is still like a part of me that wants like good things for Liz Cambage, even like because she has done like a lot of really bad things.
Yeah. But she's an incredible basketballer. She did represent, she represented something really good about women's basketball in one way as well. Like she wasn't afraid to talk about certain things.
Yeah.
She was obviously just such a huge toxic element.
Yeah.
She was probably responsible for every toxic trait that, comes from the player's side in women's basketball. But I think she did genuinely, call out correctly a lot of the like institutional organizational problems. And I don't think anyone has really been as loud about it as she was. It was kind of a shame that she was the loudest in that way and then the loudest in the other way.
Yeah, because there is always a way you can spin it. Like, why would you listen to her about anything? Yeah,
which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
There's every Andrew Bogut
Fucking
podcast
hell, bro.
about Liz Cambage was exactly that. It was like, all that's bullshit because she's like this.
Yeah,
which is, I really rue that is how it was seen.
Yeah, but we shouldn't let that. Those maybe our two most famous basketball players of all time.
In terms of how much their name gets
Yeah.
put in people's mouths. Yeah.
Yeah, we shouldn't let that take away from all the good that's happening in Australian basketball, Marco.
That's right.
The WNBL awards were recently named.
I'm sure Andrew Bogut was just celebrating this.
2 days ago. We'll go through them all, and then we're still quite casual when it comes to the WNBL, but we'll give our thoughts on the players that we do know. So coming away, we'll go from bottom to top. The Community Award went to Stephanie Reed of the Townsville Fire. The Defensive Player of the Year Award, and that is the Robin Ma Defensive Player of the Year Award, going to Steph Talbot. The Sixth Woman of the Year Award going to Isabel Borlase, who also took out the Betty Watson Breakout Player of the Year. I'm 4 awards in, and I'm just going to take an aside to mention that I don't like naming the awards. The Coach of the Year went to Shannon Seabohm.
Funnily enough, isn't named after her.
Of the Townsville Fire, and then the league MVP went to Kayla George. The Susie Batkovich league MVP went to Kayla George.
Shout out.
Yeah. What are your any early takeaways or any takeaways from this?
Yeah, the Kayla George thing's awesome. Like I think I've said on previous podcasts everything that I love about Kayla George's game, and then I forgot her name the other week. So that's a good. I think that's a good balance. But yeah, like she's the sort of player deserving of the MVP. I think.
Yeah.
Like a really dominant player on both ends. Multi-talented, can sort of do anything, and like just very clearly, I would say she was clearly the best player on the Boomers as well, who are sort of like the superstar team of the WNBL.
Yeah. Something I noticed, a trend I noticed in the WNBL this season was that after a player would sign with the WNBA team, they would really the next game was really important to them, and they would play really well. Like Kayla George, we were at that game.
She went fucking crazy.
Yeah, she went insane. Jade Melbourne had 18 points and 13 assists. I can't remember Anneli Maley's game, but I think I remember it being pretty good. But yeah, I think that from the how much I followed the league, Kayla George would have been my pick for MVP. Isabel Borlase taking 2 awards and Steph Talbot taking 1 award. They accounted for half of the awards for the Adelaide Lightning, who had a 5-16 season, which is not something I would have expected. But also, maybe in the WNBL, that's something that doesn't get taken into consideration as much, the wins. And maybe maybe the voters of these awards are a bit more subjective and just kind of treat the players as players rather than all those massive narratives we like to create in other leagues. Yeah, and I think also with Isabel Borlase, so like the Breakout Player of the Year award, that's obvious. That's like the Rookie of the Year, comparison, equivalent. But I don't think it has to be to a first year player. Yeah. And yeah, she averaged 13 points on pretty good shooting off the bench. So I think she wins that award. If you scale that up to the NBA, you know what I say? Like potential, if that's the best bench player, even on a pretty bad team, if that's the best rookie on a pretty bad team, you still win that. The Steph Talbot thing, I mean, I can't say I watched enough Adelaide Lightning to say how much, were they just completely hopeless defensively without her, or was it? Is she just? I mean, yeah, she's obviously such a good defender, but yeah, what was her impact on how good this team was, I suppose? Yeah, I also didn't watch too many Adelaide games, but of the few games I did watch, and I did get to see one live at the Boombox, she was clearly the best defender. So switchy, so versatile. Probably defended everyone but centers, but then also brought a toughness and in the WNBA playoffs when Chelsea Gray would just strip every big that tried to back her down. She'd get it. She'd make a lot of those plays, Steph Talbot. But also she is just an incredible defender. That is something that she's sold on. And it's a shame that she won't be playing with the Sparks this year because her skill set would just be perfect with them. And then coming off a good defensive season in the WNBL, I'm sure it wouldn't really affect what she does in the WNBA, but she also won it. I'm not going to hold that against her. Yeah, exactly right. Then Coach of the Year,
Shannon Seaborn.
Yeah.
He actually had a heart attack in an under-19s
Yes.
Australian basketball game right on the court and died for 15 minutes. But
Wait, actually?
yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know that part.
yeah.
That's insane.
So I think this is the third time he's won it. I think it's the first time. I think we've spoken about this, about how like you could go on a WNBL player's Wikipedia page and it says they play for the team they played for four seasons ago. So not always the most up to date information on this league, but basically the way I see it is this Townsville team finished first, and I recognize by far the least names on their roster. So he's obviously done some really good work to get them to where they are. Yeah,
I found with I was gonna say the top 4, but even the top 5, if you include Bendigo, who didn't make the playoffs, a lot of the teams that like had success or even just winning records, it was primarily like a big winning streak, and then the remainder of the season around that was like 500, or in Bendigo's case, below 500, because I think they won their first 7, at least 6 games. And then finished the season 11-10, and then didn't make the finals. And I feel like Townsville were kind of middling to start the season, and then they finished hot. Bringing all this into the finals, who you got?
I think I have to say the Boomers.
Yeah.
I think they'd be my favorite, but their first round matchup is against it's against Southside, right?
Yeah, but Southside doesn't have Lauren Jackson.
True.
Yeah.
True. I think I have the Boomers. I think it'll be tough, but I think obviously they're the team I've watched by far the most, but I think they have the deepest roster.
Yeah.
And I think probably the most winning pedigree. They're the defending champs. Right? Yeah. But I think I will be interested to watch this first round to get like more of an idea of the other teams.
Yeah, I think I would also pick Melbourne or Townsville. But I think it just makes too much sense to pick Melbourne, man.
Yeah.
Like there's so much talent on the team.
Yeah.
And Townsville had the best season, and they got some pretty good players. Tanner Hawkins is definitely a name I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
But no, I couldn't not pick Melbourne. You know.
Yeah, that's fine. That can be our take.
Thanks, bro.
The Melbourne Boomers, the Deakin Melbourne Boomers for the chip.
Oh, and Tiana Hawkins. Oh my God, has the exact same birthday as my brother.
Really?
Happy birthday, Tiana.
No freaking way.
And Jimmy.
No freaking way.
Happy 31st birthday to both of you.
What date? 2nd of March 1991.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that was 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Hey, congrats.
Congrats, guys.
Tiana.
And my dad's birthday was 2 days ago.
You know what?
Happy birthday, Dad.
She was probably. Hold on, let's have a look. Just 1 second.
What?
Okay, no, it wasn't on her birthday. But she was named to the All WNBL first team just a few days after her 31st birthday.
What a 31st birthday present.
But Jimmy didn't get that. Cop that, Jim. Should we take a quick break and then move to the next topic?
Sure thing.
And we're back.
Man, all this talk about MVPs makes me really want to talk about the MVP.
Oh, yeah.
What were you going to say? Was yours going to be better?
Nah, that was good.
Okay, well, let's cut this last bit. But, so the NBA MVP... Whoa. I was going to say is coming up, but it's not. The NBA MVP is an award.
Yeah.
And I last week was like, let's talk about the MVP. And I was like, I want to actually think about the MVP for a week. And I actually want to go second here. But MVP, take it away. Which way do you want to take this?
Well, you had a spiel you wanted to give, but do we want to go through the candidates first and then you...
I don't want to go through the candidates.
Okay, you just want to talk about it generally.
I want to talk about who the MVP is.
Right.
Because I don't want it to be a discussion.
The person or the type
the person,
of person?
The person.
Oh, yeah.
The person.
Yeah, I mean, it's Nikola Jokic.
It's Nikola Jokic.
By a country mile, I think.
By maybe not a country mile, but it's him. Why is it not him? There's no argument you could make that puts another player above him.
Yeah.
He is somehow... So something I think of today. Luka Doncic is having one of his probably his best season yet. And it looks like he's just like taking step after step after step forward and forward and like becoming more physical, faster, just getting better. It looks like Jokic is going the other way. Like he's going slower and doing less in a game and still just completely dominating it. And also, something I said on the Deep 2 last week, but there is no PR train for Nikola Jokic, and he's still in the MVP discussion. Like anytime other superstars have a great game, it's like, you know, someone's going to write something about it. Shams is going to add a few extra adjectives to a tweet talking about them. And Jokic, there's none of this stuff. So I just think that it's like he's even better than we say he is.
Then it's the narrative's like constantly against him, if anything. Like the media train is like here's how Jokic can't win the MVP.
Yeah.
Like here's the circumstances that can arise for him not to win it. And I mean, yeah, it's idiotic. Like he's on. Do the Nuggets have the best team in the league yet? Sorry, the best team in the league.
So subjective.
The best record in the league. Oh, they're one game off the best record in the league right now because Boston have been faltering a bit. They've obviously just completely cleared out the rest of the West. Yeah, they're half a game behind Milwaukee.
By the way, Milwaukee, who in a 20% chunk of their season, aka 16 games, didn't lose. Yeah. And they're half a game behind them.
Yeah. And yeah, Jokic is obviously like transcending every peak he's hit, but as you're saying, without doing anywhere near as much or looking anywhere near as present on the floor. And then he gets like stat padding accusations. You get like an argument for every other player. You go like, yeah, but Joel Embiid is having like such a good season, which
that's fine.
Yeah, he is. That's completely fine. But yeah, you're completely right. There's no push. There's no push for Jokic, and I think it is just like every NBA, member of the NBA cognoscenti, the commentariat, trying to talk themselves out of giving it to him again, which is so stupid. I think everyone should put their ballots in now, just to kind of forget about it.
Yeah, then you don't know. There's one less thing to worry about at the end of the season. Yeah, I think that he should just be seen as the standard. It's like this is when I was at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup. The USA team is obviously just better than everyone in both men's and women's basketball, but I think they just need to be seen as the standard, and it shouldn't be this like thing that you take offense to. It should be this thing that you're trying to catch up to, and you got to use it as a good thing rather than like a bad thing. So yeah, I just think that Jokic is the standard, and why would you hate on him? Like, why would you? We made a mistake with LeBron not giving him the MVP fucking 8 times or whatever. So let's not make the same mistake moving forward. Like, he's the MVP. It shouldn't be a narrative. There is narrative around it, and there never won't be. There always will be. But there's also no discussion. There's no one that should be in the discussion with him.
Yeah, I don't even know how to make a hypothetical argument for someone else at the moment.
Who would it be about?
I think Giannis is having a really good season. No, but like, okay, if you had to make it, I think it would be Giannis, purely because Milwaukee are now the number 1 seed in the East. They are the best team in the East. I mean, he's underpinning so much of what makes them good. He's averaging 31 points a game. He's, I'm really trying my hardest here. Like he is becoming more and more of I think he is becoming more and more of a facilitator as well. Like more so this season than any other season. But yeah, I think in every single other way, like Jokic clears him. Jokic is so much more clearly integral to why his team is good as well. I think, look, when Giannis goes down, like the Bucks aren't great, but they are like a really good roster. They've got a couple of other really, Drew Holiday can be such a leader when Giannis isn't in the game. But I don't think there's anyone that comes close to that on the Denver roster. Like Jamal Murray's good, but like he's obviously not hitting his peak. Michael Porter Jr., I don't actually think he's that good. And then, there's some really, really good role players on that team, which always helps, Like, Jokic is averaging 10 assists, and however many of them are to Aaron Gordon and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. But I don't think they are lifting him and Denver that much further up than he has already lifted them. In fact, I don't think really at all.
Yeah, he's like a model of production and efficiency. He's 4th in the league in effective field goal percentage. Everyone above him, Nick Claxton averaging 7 shots. Mason Plumlee averaging 7 shots. Rudy Gobert averaging 7 shots. He's averaging 15.
Yeah. And then he's only taking 15 shots. He could so easily be taking more. And I think he tries so hard. He tries so hard not to shoot the ball sometimes.
Bro.
He does everything he can to not be like, fine, I'll back down the guy. I'll back down the guy guarding me. He tries everything else he possibly can. And I don't think it's like I have to like, it's not a Wilt Chamberlain chasing the assists record thing. It's just like how he creates the best offense for Denver.
Yeah, I feel like an element of stat padding has to be like looking like a tryhard. And he doesn't. No. He's just chilling. Shout out Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. I haven't had any doubts since about, I don't know, week 2. Yeah. I reckon.
Yeah.
Did you want to say that thing you wanted to say about Europeans and Americans?
Oh, yeah. There's like,
I think it's an interesting point.
What's this thing? I don't know what this fucking thing has been lately about Europeans not having the same pressure as Americans to win championships, and it's like very weirdly becoming a racial thing. But that's not the point I want to make. I just want to make note of the fact that I just find that very weird. But also, Americans have been the fucking legend king heroes of the world forever. No one can even come close to the way Americans play basketball. Europeans, it's so nice that they even fucking participate in these basketball games. Oh, they can pass, but they can't run, and they can't fucking do anything else well, but they got the finesse of their game. And now all of a sudden, all the best players in the league aren't American. And it's like, oh, why is there no pressure on them? It's like, what do you mean there's no pressure on them? You guys have fucking shat gold for the entirety of basketball history. Yeah. You guys...
How many Americans have won an NBA championship?
Yeah. But you put yourselves so higher above everyone else in the world. And it's like, it used to be like, you're never going to win a ring with a European. And now it's like, oh, no, wait, actually, they're better than all of us. Okay, no, why is there no pressure on them to win a ring? It's like, fuck off. You can't... What like... It's such a weird... It's like a spiteful narrative that... It's just bullshit. You put this pressure on yourselves.
Yeah. And I think if we want to talk about Jokic specifically as well, like, there's so much pressure on him to win a ring. But like, also, if you're winning MVP so clearly and being so good at basketball, like that kind of dissipates a bit as well. It's like, he'll win a ring. Like, and the same with Luka. Like, I mean, Luka's only 23 goddamn years old, but like everyone is so confident. Like, I think people who actually watch him play basketball properly are so confident that he will win a ring one day because he's that good. He just needs like the perfect circumstances around him to happen, which is what anyone needs to win a ring, basically. Like, you know, how many players? You only win a ring if you have a good team around you, like no matter how good you are. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's really like a load of hockey. Also, the best young prospect in a generation is some French kid.
I have heard of him.
The American century is over.
Yeah.
Finally ended. The 2023 NBA draft.
The rings thing is like, I mean, we could do a whole pod on it. We actually probably should. Yeah. But like, just going through everything that has to go right. Like, so much has to go right. It's not a one player thing. No. It's not even a team thing. It's like a whole organization thing.
And like a league thing. Like how often does a team win a championship and it's like there wasn't one thing that like didn't break right for them. Yeah. You know? Like both of the Warriors Kevin Durant teams. No, both of them?
Both of them.
One of them. The 2018 championship team could so easily have lost it to the Houston Rockets in the Western Conference Finals. Like so easily. Yeah. That could have been the reality we're in. And yeah, that's like just so easily one of the best rosters ever assembled.
Yeah.
Like one of the most overpowered teams in league history.
Yeah.
And they still needed Chris Paul to get injured, and
Yeah.
for the Rockets to miss how many consecutive threes did they miss? 17 or something like that.
I thought it was 27.
Yeah, 27. It had a 7.
The Warriors' first ring, this iteration of the Warriors' first ring, Kevin Love and Kyrie were out, and like that was, I don't want to say that was the worst of their teams, but it was definitely the least experienced. And if the Cavs are fully strong, then surely they'd win that. The Cavs the next year, Draymond doesn't want to fucking dick kick, then he's not suspended for that game. And then who knows what happens if he never gets suspended, like every year, like as we said.
Yeah, and I think we've definitely said this on the podcast. It doesn't devalue any ring because they're all like this. Like, no ring's easy. No ring has an easy part. It's just like the fact of the matter is there are at any given time, I would say at least 18 other NBA teams trying to win a championship in the season that you're doing it. So like something is going to have to go wrong for one of them to go right for you.
You need the externalities to be in your favor.
Yeah. And there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a good podcast to me, Lucas.
Yeah, it sounds like a good place to end it.
Thanks for listening. I guess we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, I'm calling it. We're recording the podcast again.
Why do you have me here, Marco?
Fucking hell. Actually, you know what? Hold on. You just entertain them for a second.
So guys, I've been working on this joke lately, and I'm just think I'm gonna try it out live on air. It's Saturday night. Marco, come back. So we didn't make mention of this last week, and nearly didn't make mention of it this week, but
We made hot sauce.
oh my god, I completely forgot we were recording this on video as well. Our hot sauce, which is nearly sold out. If you want to go on the YouTubes, which is still recording, cool. If you want to go on the YouTube, that's what the jar and the bottle look like.
Put them here.
Oh my god, we could have done such a good thing with Ja Morant before.
Ah!
Oh my god, and the jar costs 12. Ja Morant wears 12.
Holy shit.
And he was saying fuck 12.
And we
While he held the fucking piece that he was going to...
Now he's really bottled the Memphis Grizzlies' chances of a championship this year.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And all for what? $8?
Yeah, we could. So, we could have said bottle for 8, Demetrius for 12. But yeah, as Lucas said, I wasn't listening to what you were saying, but we made a hot sauce. We made a hot sauce. It was mostly thanks to Alessio Conte. He's just such a fantastic guy all around, and a great chef to boot. So yeah, if you'd like a bottle or a jar, they are actually selling so quickly. It's ridiculous.
They might be sold out.
They might be sold out by tomorrow morning.
Dead set, I reckon the jars could be.
Yeah, there were like 7 jars left at our last count. But yeah, just send us a DM. We'll try and we can drop on to you. You can come pick them up. We'll sort something out. It's so delicious, and I'm certain this won't be the last time we do it as well, because we've had such a good response to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, really fucking excited. You should check out the video I made as well.
Oh yeah, Mark, I made a fucking ripper video.
It's just
as well.
absolute gas.
Do you want to chuck it at the start of this ep?
Yeah, that could be fun actually.
On the V-Pod?
That could be really good.
Cool.
Yeah. And then it'll be funny because we won't make mention of it.
Stay tuned until the very end
to find out what this means. All right, well, on that note, we will see you
now
next
we're
week.
actually going.
Bye.
Bye.